How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? We're back in the studio here. It's CAR-ANTINED day 24, and we're going to continue our discussion on the 2020 Equinox LT all-wheel drive. So if you remember, last week we did a video on 0% for 84 months. We compared that to the 72 months at 0% with the $1,000 rebate, and we also compared that to taking all the rebates that most people will qualify for and taking like an average rate, like a 3 or 4%. 2 days ago, we did the lease. Took the same exact vehicle, same exact sale price. We put it together in a lease calculation, and we kind of spoke about that to give you a little bit of an idea of how things are calculated. I got a question from Amy, and Amy says, well, let me ask you a question. What are your thoughts on leasing versus buying? Because not everybody has $30,000 to take out of the bank and put down and just buy a vehicle, outright. And I thought to myself, that's a very good question, and we're going to address that here today. Now, just to get you back up to speed here, for this example, we were using a 2020 Equinox LT all-wheel drive with the confidence and convenience package, what everybody knows to be MSRP or total vehicle price. What you see on the window sticker, $32,340, and we were selling it for $31,117.35. Now, that number represents GM supplier pricing. There's a number of different ways you can get that pricing, whether you're like a teacher, educator, police, fire, EMS, active military, corporate discounts. There's all different ways. So it's just a good sale price to base this stuff on. I also included New Jersey tax, New Jersey's tire fee, New Jersey's motor vehicle fee, and our dealer documentation fee, which is $299. So all tax and fees, everything in the state of New Jersey is included in this. And it's based on current programs that we have right now, because programs change all the time. So as of this video upload, this stuff is accurate. If you paid cash for the vehicle, tax, title, license, everything included, you'd be at $29,306.18. If you wanted to finance at 0%, you get an extra $1,000 rebate as well. You'd be at $32,806.18. And if you leased it for 39 months, 12,000 miles per year, tax, title, license, everything included, you would have been at a total amount of $13,853.14. For argument's sake, we're also figuring that the person's driving an average of 12,000 miles per year in all three of these situations. To be fair, I really don't think there's a bad way here. I think each one of these methods is going to have their pros and their cons for your particular situation. But again, assuming somebody's driving 12,000 miles per year, in these first two, a cash and a finance, I think you have to ask yourself two questions. How long do I plan on keeping the car? And am I going to purchase an extended warranty for the car? And the reason why I ask those two questions is, one, how long? You have to worry about depreciation. So if you're buying a car for cash or you're financing a car for 6 years, but every 3 years you want to go into a new car because you want like the new technology or you get bored of your car or whatever the case may be, you're facing depreciation there that if you leased it, you wouldn't have to face. The second thing is, if you buy these cars because you plan on keeping them forever, like I'm going to buy the car cash, I'm going to keep it for 10 years, you got to ask yourself, are you going to purchase an extended warranty on the vehicle? Because if you don't, in both of these situations, after 3 years, or 36,000 miles, you're out of your limited bumper-to-bumper warranty, which means if like a heated seat breaks, the navigation system breaks, a power window switch, the power seat, electronics, the computer, anything that's not considered powertrain, you're gonna be on the hook for that. You're gonna have to pay for that repair and you're gonna have to add it to your cost of ownership. Secondly, your powertrain. After 5 years, or what would be 60,000 miles, you no longer have powertrain warranty. So you figure if you paid cash for it, you want to keep it as long as possible. You got to hope that you don't have any issues with the vehicle that are going to cost you money to repair. If you finance it, before you're even done paying for the car, you're already out of warranty, which means you're on the hook for whatever might go wrong. Now, if you decide you do want to add an extended warranty to these vehicles, well, you're adding a few $1,000s depending on how long you want to protect the car and how many miles a year and all that sort of stuff. So you're adding that to your cost of ownership. So with these two options, there's just a little bit of unknowns. When you have a lease, you kind of are protected against those unknowns. Why? Well, the bank is assuming the depreciation. So like we talked about, this vehicle had like a 58% residual or whatever it was. They're assuming the car is going to be worth 58% of its value today. If it's not, well, guess what? You hand the car back in. You don't have to worry about it. Also, you're protected on your warranty pretty much the whole time. Now, in this example, I used the 39-month. So for 3 months, you do not have limited bumper-to-bumper warranty. However, a lot of times they have what's called a pull-ahead program. And on a GM pull-ahead program, as long as you stay with General Motors, they'll pull you out of that lease early. They'll squash the payments. Sometimes it's up to $1,000 or $1,500, 2, 3 payments, 4 payments, whatever. But they'll squash those payments. They don't get rolled into the new lease, and you can go into a new car. We do it all the time. I've done it myself personally. It's a great program, and it can get you out of your lease while you're still under warranty. So rather than waiting till 39 months, you can get out in 36 months, go right into another lease. And we're gonna do that for this example. We're gonna take this, we're gonna assume that you pulled out in 36 months and we were able to keep you basically in your same payment range, which is what everybody wants, for your next lease. You know, it's funny, I'm sitting here and I'm calculating this off camera and then I come back and I film. And as I do it, I'm thinking like, well, wait a minute, maybe this doesn't make all that much sense. But you know, you gotta kind of talk yourself through it. Here's my thought process and what I think, right? So let's say you do a 39-month lease. You end up getting out of it 3 months early because you do the GM pull ahead program, right? You qualify for it. So this payment was $305 a month. You're not paying 3 of those payments. So you're actually subtracting $915 from your $13,853.14. So your total cost after what would be 36 months would be $12,938.14. Now, assuming we can get the same type of lease that you had on this Equinox on the next model, which listen, it's happened where after 3 years, a customer comes back, I can save the money off their payment. It's happened the opposite where the payments go up $100. You know, it all depends on what's going on and what vehicles are popular and what's selling and what GM has as programs. But this is definitely something that would normally be doable. So if we can keep you in the same sort of structure you are here, take the total cost of ownership from the first 36 months, add the same number, the $13,853.14 for another 39 months, and your total out of pocket would have been $26,791.28 at the end of 75 months. That's assuming you don't use the pull ahead program again to get out of it 3 months early and have it just be 72, which would drop the payments again, same situation. But $26,791.28 is what you would have paid over 75 months versus owning one vehicle for $29,306.18 for 75 months, or now you're currently paid off, you paid $32,806.18, and you're also at 75 months. So now as I looked at that, I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, that's not that big a difference. That's only like $2,500. So yeah, if you can pay cash, that's the best bet because you still have a trade value. If you pay cash and you trade this vehicle in, or if you finance for 72 months and you trade this vehicle in, you're getting money back. So for argument's sake, I just hopped on Kelley Blue Book and I looked up a 2014 Chevy Equinox LT all-wheel drive with, you know, similar equipment and 72,000 miles, figuring that's the mileage you would have on it. And you're getting a range of about $7,000. So if you took $7,000 off this cash price, your cost of ownership is now $22,306.18. If you took the $7,000 off the finance, you're at $5,806.18. And again, on the lease, you're just giving the car back and you would have paid $26,791.28. So right now the finance is about $1,000 better than the 2 leases combined. And the cash is $4,500 better than the 2 leases combined. So we go back to the same 2 questions we started with, which is, did you put an extended warranty on either one of these cars? Did you have any repairs on either one of these cars while you were not in warranty? And truly, will you get $7,000? What really is the depreciation of that car, and what's the trade value? You know, when you trade it in, how's the condition of it? You know, was it in an accident? Do you have a Carfax that's bad that's going to depreciate the value of that car? You know, on a lease, you don't have to worry about depreciation. You do have to worry about excess wear and tear. In my experience, lease companies are pretty lenient. I'm a perfect example. I have a video up of my Chevy Volt that we returned back in September. I got a bill of I didn't get a bill. I saw the report, which was $1,800 worth of damage, and I got a bill with nothing. So I didn't have to pay for any of it. You know, and a lot of times if you do lease over and over and over again, you know, sometimes there's programs where they'll waive a certain amount of damage and stuff like that because they want to honestly keep you with the bank and with the lease and on that 3-year cycle. You know, I do it as a customer. I love it as a salesperson because I get customers that come back every 3 years for a new vehicle. And here in the Northeast, we do a lot of leasing. A lot of leasing gets done on the East Coast, especially up in this New York City, you know, metro area. But yeah, did any of this make sense? Let me think here. Final thoughts. Here on the lease, no worries about warranty. You're always covered. So you don't have to pay for any kind of repairs. It's just your maintenance, oil change, tire rotations, that sort of thing. You're doing that on every model anyway. But here for 75 months essentially, or 72 months, if you do cut out of the second lease 3 months early under a pull ahead, you're really covered warranty wise the whole time and it didn't cost you anything else. On a lease, gap insurance is included. On a finance at 0%, if you're not putting any money down, most likely that car is going to depreciate faster than you can pay it off. So you might want to put gap insurance on a finance contract. You know, you're going to spend a few $100s on that. I don't know exactly how much it costs because I don't sell it, but that's something you would add to that cost. Again, warranties you would add to that cost. If you don't buy the warranty, you got to wonder, do you have any repair issues? It's an unknown. The trade value in the future is an unknown. Here, the bank is assuming what that car is going to be worth 3 years later down the road. And if it's not worth that, well, it doesn't matter to you. You're just returning the car. Perfect example. Back when the gas crisis hit, in a sense, and the market collapsed and gas was like $4.50, $5 a gallon, there were people with Suburbans and Tahoes and Silverados and these trucks that were bringing their leases back. I don't know what the numbers are. I don't really remember. But let's say the residual value on that or the buyout on that car was $30,000. Well, at auction, they were going for $20,000. I mean, $10,000, $12,000 less than what the bank had assumed they would be selling for 3 years earlier. Banks were losing tens of thousands, millions of dollars, probably, you know, nation and worldwide. But they were losing so much money on these cars going to auction because it didn't make any sense for the customer to buy and keep the car because it was the residual value, it was assumed at such a higher rate. And at that current time in the market, the trucks just weren't worth that much money. You know, cars were selling more. People want good economy, fuel economy vehicles. So now that time passed, and once it passed, the values came back up and everything kind of leveled off. But you just don't know. There's unknowns of what the future will bring. And with a lease, you're sort of protected for that. So I'm just going to finish up with my final thoughts of the two vehicles I currently have, because I actually do both. I have a lease and I have a finance. First, I want to talk about my Chevrolet Volt. It's a 2018 and I financed that car. Now, I bought the car right. You know, employee price, a ton of rebates. I bought it right before the $7,500 tax credit was reduced. So we got to take full advantage of the $7,500 tax credit. Fantastic deal, phenomenal deal. And the reason I did that was because my plan was to drive that car forever. As long as that car is running, I'm keeping it. I don't really see a need to trade it in. Over the years, I may have other cars that I'll add to the fleet, if you will, but that car is going to be a car that I'm going to drive as long as it runs. So hopefully I can get 10 years and 200,000 miles out of it. You know, that's the ultimate goal. I took a gamble on it. I did not buy any kind of an extended warranty. Now, I have a very good track record with Chevrolet as far as my vehicles being reliable. Maybe it's luck, you know, who knows, whatever it may be. So I decided that I really don't need to put that money into that warranty at this time. I can always do it down the road if I want to, but I don't have to. So right now I'm just with factory warranty, 36,000 miles on the bumper to bumper, 60,000 on the powertrain, and 100,000 on all the Volt Tech components, like all the electronic stuff, the battery, things that have to do with the car being electric. You know, now I'm going to blow through those miles faster than the time because I'm averaging 16, 17,000 miles a year on that car. So I'm going to get to those mileage points before the time. But I said, you know what? I'm going to take the gamble and I'm going to hope that car lasts with no issues as far as, you know, repairs. And I'm just going to keep driving it as long as I can. The second vehicle is our Lease, which is our Bolt. Now, it's a Bolt EV, it's a premier model, it's a $44,000 vehicle that we're leasing for $369 a month. That's 15,000 miles a year. I didn't put a dime out of pocket. So for $13,284 over the course of 3 years, my wife can drive a $44,000 electric vehicle. Now, I do not protect myself for the difference in the mileage. So there is a bit of a gamble here. My bumper to bumper expires at 36,000, but I'm going to put 45,000 on the car. So there's that gap of 8,000 or 9,000 miles where if something goes wrong, I'm responsible for it. But my track record in the last 3 leases, I haven't had that issue. So I just take the gamble and I don't put the warranty on it. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, we leased, so I'm on a lease cycle every 3 years. It was a Cruise, a 14 Cruise, a 16 Volt, and then went to the 19 Bolt. I would have did another Volt, but the lease deals changed dramatically on sedans and it was just way more than it should have been. So it wouldn't have made sense. But if I add this up, I was paying $193 on the Cruise. I was paying $239 on the Volt, and I was paying $369 on the Bolt, or I am paying $369. So it's $801 a month times 36 months. So that's $28,836 that I will be paying over the last 9 years for 3 different vehicles versus paying $29,000 or $30,000 depending on how you structure a finance or a cash, like we're talking about here on an Equinox, and keeping the car for 9 years and what would be for us 35,000 miles. 15,000 miles times 9 years, 135,000 miles.
You know, so that's the question you got to kind of ask yourself. Like, to me personally, yes, I can buy a car, spend $28,000 or $29,000, $30,000 and keep it for 9 years. Hope for the best. Or I can lease 3 different vehicles, 3 different styles. Now, I didn't have to lease a Bolt. I could have leased a Trax. I could have leased an Equinox. I could have leased something that would have gave me a lower payment than $369, but I decided that's the car that I wanted. And that has to be part of your decision as well. Like, you know, yes, you're buying a vehicle and it's a payment and it's a price, but you want to make sure that whatever you're driving every day is something that you actually enjoy. I mean, you're paying for it. You might as well enjoy it. You might as well like, you know, something about it, whether it be the style, the performance, the tech, you know, whatever. I hope I made some sort of sense with this whole video. Questions, just put them below. Let's keep the conversation going because, you know, I feel like I made a little bit of sense here. Again, I don't think there's a bad way to go. I think there's just different gambles and there's different pluses and minuses to each situation. Depending on your personal situation. Again, like myself, I drive 15,000 miles a year. You throw that calculation into here, it might throw things off a little bit. Maybe you drive 20,000 a year, maybe you drive 8,000 a year, you know, and certain things might make more sense for you. But I hope I shed a little bit of light on it. Again, questions go down below. If you're subscribed and you're subscribed recently, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. If you're not subscribed and you're watching this video and you want to help me out, I'm wondering if I can get to 5,000 subscribers before I go back to work and I'm not in quarantine anymore. I don't know if I could do it, but if you could help me do it, I'd appreciate it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll talk to you soon.